agenda today. I remember meeting you in December. My name is Pete Schwartz, and I'm one of the principals of Vessel Architecture. And Todd, I'm sure you know, for better or worse, mostly better. He's our project manager on the project, and we came last December just to introduce the project, and really what we'd like to do this afternoon is reintroduce it. We can show you a few more design decisions, but our main goal is just to hear from you what you'd like to see when we come back for our formal presentation to try to make that as smooth as possible. Let's see, should we maybe just throw this back on the table?
Sure.
Stuck the other one over there. We can play it. See that?
That was, the design really is relatively unchanged. That was the conclusion of a pretty condensed schematic design phase. And the theme really of the design is just restoring the building to its original grandeur. We hope maybe even bringing some that it didn't have. The windows that you see are openings that are already there that through the life of the building have been closed over. The geometry on the lower level, the arched windows, actually is consistent and was inspired by a master plan sketch that HOK did more than 50 years ago for a comprehensive master plan of St. Genevieve. They had done some beautiful hand-drawn elevations of the downtown area, and we certainly didn't copy their design for this building, but we were inspired by it because, quite frankly, it was the right thing to do to make that building look the way it should. So you may recall, and obviously the building shows removal of the mural on the, is that the 3rd Street side? Mm-hmm. And I don't remember that there was a lot of controversy about that, but we will be asking for your blessing to remove that, or at least your willingness to let us do that. And so we've got some window cut sheets we can show you of windows we're talking about. We didn't have that before. If it's possible to bring a real sample for the final meeting, we certainly will. We can suggest some color today. It will be chosen to match that rendering pretty closely. There are 3 or 4 options of a dark bronze to black that I think will look pretty good. The canopy over the front, I think, really was the only item that was discussed. Our recollection of the meeting was it was not only productive but really positive from our perspective. There was some talk about that canopy, so we can revisit that and see what you all are thinking and feeling about it now. And then the modernist piece added on that was previously the Ben Franklin building will be getting some new glazing. And that in the process of developing the design over the winter, we realized that front facade is going to need more structural attention than we first had hoped. We may be taking some brick off and doing some repair there as well. It'll stay masonry, of course, but it's just in a little rougher condition than what we'd hoped, like a good part of the building is. So since we met, our structural engineer has been designing some systems that will bring this building seismic resistance up to a much higher level than it is now, which is up to say almost none as a bearing masonry building built 100 years ago. So the building will be much safer for the occupants, especially because of the school functions in there. It requires a pretty fair level of attention. The mechanical systems are being almost entirely replaced. There are some that are in there that are really good. The electrical system is being replaced entirely. So this building is going to be almost brand new on the inside and then quite a bit freshened up on the outside. So we hope it'll continue to be a good improvement for the city and for that block. Let's see, you want to add anything? I think I've hit all the main points, but
Are any of the entrances new?
they're not.
We will. We will have new entrances. Not on the front side.
No,
you're right.
you're
Right.
But I'm looking at doors that I don't recall being here.
Yeah, there's on the plan. We'll have two new entrances off the desert. Essentially, there'll be a new entrance, kind of what is now the alley, that is kind of between the desert and this building down here, which will be the kindergarten and preschool area entrance. And then there'll be an entrance kind of toward the back of the building that will come in, which will have, this will for sure be an accessible entrance, ADA accessible. And this one, may have a set of steps, to down there. And then,
Right there.
yeah, the entrance that is the old grocery store entrance is gonna flip to the Third Street side and be, accessible from just the Third Street side, because the school will fence in the parking lot. And so we wanted to keep St. Vincent de Paul,
So
have
will
their
they-
own access.
They'll still have their own parking?
Yeah, St. Vincent de Paul will have street parking and actually,
Actually have parking.
They park in my yard.
so this is a rough site plan. Our plan is to take the entire length of Third Street and do angled parking, and then there'll be a fence
Oh, that'd
coming
be
off the
awesome.
corner of the building and then
So
closing
that'll
it.
all be parked. That'll be
And then this
awesome.
will all be student parking, and then this will be St. Vincent de Paul parking, and then, there'll still be some Third Street,
Yeah, that'll be,
parallel parking.
that's good use of the area.
And we've done preliminary review with the city on that angle parking, right, Tom?
Yeah, we're okay.
Okay.
But we actually sent the assistant police chief out, and
They
they
did.
took a wheel and they measured everything.
Oh, okay.
They're okay with it.
Great.
Great.
Awesome.
What about
Here's,
the,
let's see, I'm sorry, just real quick, in the entrances and exits, the stair here, the emergency exit's been pulled to the outside of the building. There's an existing staircase that's in the building now that we're going to use.
Not anymore.
Former, yeah.
Yeah, so a few things have changed, since this plan was drawn, but.
And the
But all the-
elevator is that X, I guess?
All
Yeah,
the-
the elevator will be right here. It's kind of replacing there's an old shaft there.
All the major spaces are still in the same places, multipurpose, where it is. Athletic facility in the back, St. Vincent de Paul in the green, and then the school in the light blue.
What about the dock in the back? You going to keep that?
Yes. Yeah, and that will, our hope is that basically we will eliminate the curb along Third Street, and when they get deliveries, they know a day in advance usually when they're gonna get deliveries, so they said, they'll just go out and put a couple cones out with a string between them, that will block off this area so that the delivery truck can pull in and back up to
Yeah,
the
what
dock.
day is that? Thursday?
Wednesday. It's usually on Wednesday.
That's St. Vincent de Paul?
No, the St. Vincent Paul Thursday, but the deliveries are usually on Tuesday or Wednesday.
So I can't see it from here, but on Third Street, there's an existing door there close to where it says kitchen.
Yeah, there's a door.
Yeah, are you going to keep that door? There must be that hallway.
That's kind of changed a little bit in there, but yeah, there will be a door there. There's an existing door, but I
Yeah.
can't remember exactly if we're gonna keep it exactly where it's at, but we'll probably keep it where it's at because it's just easier. And that will just
Yeah,
be
there's the
mainly,
dock.
it's actually just an entrance into the kitchen. So,
And then where the preschool is in the front, you will not, that'll be all windows.
that'll be
right?
all windows, there won't be any doors there. The door for preschool will be off the side.
Fence is not gonna cross.
Yeah, and the fence will continue across the alley, and there'll probably be some sort of
Oh, so you have to enter from the desert.
yeah, well, there'll be probably some sort of a gate at the alley if people are dropping off from Merchant Street, so they could come in, I don't know. We haven't, there's still some discussion on what we want to do with desert traffic and how we want to, move people around, in there.
The advertising that's above the dock, loading dock, you going to keep that? Are you going to paint over that? Are you going to clean it off? What? It says Rocher.
Says Roger's
That's on this
there.
side here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would guess that the majority of the building is going to be power washed, so that and cleaned up.
Don't power wash brick.
They're gonna, in order to tuck point, I think they usually power
They don't
wash.
power wash.
Not on the whole building, you don't.
Do an acid wash, that what you
No,
need to do?
no, don't do an S
Not
No,
to clean it.
I don't know, we had our building tuck pointed and we couldn't, and they had to do it with just a hose, not even a sprayer.
It,
It kinda sucked.
I think we'd have
Runs
to
the
look
finish
at, look at that one to see.
That it's too
that
soft of a
is not
brick
as
or
old as
something.
a lot of it.
Yeah, depending on how old it is.
Now, the
So,
new
do we have a
apartment-
real strong opinion one way or the other about keeping it? I mean, it's kind
I
of,
would
it's kind of
think so.
neat, and I don't think we would,
That might be an issue that the
I don't
the
think we would
rest of the
try to
commission
take it
might want to
off.
discuss, that's why.
Yeah, that's really a technical issue. We'd have to look, somebody would have to look at. It depends on the age of the brick and the hardness of the brick.
Yeah, sure.
And the
And
the
a lot
advertisement.
of the old buildings in town, it just, you can't do it without destroying
Well,
the
yeah.
structure.
So it's painted,
That's a
I don't even
newer-
know what it
that's
is,
a
is it just painted on the
relatively
brick?
new building in
Yeah.
town, so.
But it's deep into the pores.
Sure.
It's been there for a long time.
In the city, they actually paint the brick.
It'll
It'll
probably be a cost issue
Obliterate the
too. I
image.
mean, that's pretty low priority. I mean, if it's not an
I
eyesore.
don't think, I don't notice it, it must not be that obvious.
Oh, I remember, because I took a picture of it a long time ago and I came across it today.
We have some discussion about preserving the image of the mural.
Yeah, we talked
Yes.
about taking a, or having somebody take, a nice
Yeah, we have a plan for that.
picture.
And it'll be mounted inside the parish hall.
Yeah,
or
that's
the
good,
church
yeah.
space.
That
Where at?
developed into a history of its own.
It's mounted in there.
As part of
Oh,
the history of the
multi-purpose?
town. I mean,
It's really a parish hall.
250th anniversary that was put up.
That sounds respectful.
And it was part of that celebration.
Oh, I see.
Or
Okay.
it could go in the gallery space, which isn't really marked, but now this top of the stairs is, Todd's turned into a gallery space, hoping that we can display art, local art up there, and it'd be a really nice place for that also. But,
You might not want to take away from the other art, though, might, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
well, we'll find a good place for it. It won't go in a classroom, let's put it that way.
The new windows that you can see here, these banks of windows, fill these meeting rooms and the band room with natural daylight that they don't have now. And then the intention is to use an operable panel system in this meeting room to open it up so that that natural light can go all the way into that gallery as far as it will reach. And then it'll be a series of sliding panels, not an accordion door or anything. So that can be opened up almost all the way. Yeah, they stack back against the wall and that gallery gets even bigger. It'll be right behind that window. There's enough texture and decoration already on the building. We don't feel like we have to add any ornamentation. We'll probably have some reveal here and there and try to keep this canopy simple. I think the temptation would be to put some doodads or some anchors back to the building on that canopy. I think it's better to just keep that line really clean and let it follow the arch of the windows rather than add some kind of unnecessary thing. If you were to see...
Is this newer? I don't remember this from last time.
I just
the
didn't
same
notice
design.
it.
We may have
I just
only
remember
We
brought
may
it up.
have only put 2 of them up.
I just remember that one.
So, I talked with, actually with County Do It, because that's where they got, when St. Gen did some window replacements, they used County Do It. I talked to Dad about it. And so they have been putting together some quotes for us on the, kind of the same windows that they used up there, which is an aluminum clad, window.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of our major, questions is,
Was that gonna fly?
can we use, aluminum clad windows? And, we'd really like, the biggest thing for the school is the maintenance of a wood window, which is a huge cost, over the life of the window.
We found a couple. It is important to clarify when Todd says aluminum, our preference is for that for maintenance and for cost, especially long-term maintenance. But we certainly don't want it to look like we just filled it in with storefront and slapped some muntins up. So we found a couple of different lines of windows. Here's a cut sheet on one of them, and we thought it was pretty encouraging that this particular example is very much like the smaller windows on the side, even with the arch. So there is some detail and some trim available in an aluminum frame, but we get the advantage of the durability, the ease of manufacturing. Really, the only reason these weren't done in this building 106 years ago is they weren't available at all. So that's our hope is that if we do that in a color that's appropriate and do the proper muntins like you see in the rendering to break those down, and even do a double hung window upstairs and then the fixed panes below, that it'll blend right into the design.
Couldn't the same be said of any material that was invented after 106 years ago?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. But we wouldn't want to apply that argument for the sake of using a cheaper window that didn't look right. But because the aluminum ones are available and they look good, that's our preference. And really, I'm not sure our budget could support wood windows of this size and complexity. So the color chart is several shades of brown. We'll have a final pick for you. Is it in there, Tom?
Well, do you guys have any say on the windows up at St. John? Do you guys have any say up on the windows up at St. John, on the old part of the building? Because aren't those wooden windows?
But on their new windows, on
Well,
the
but that's
additions,
Yeah, but that's not the historical building.
right,
The
they
middle
didn't,
school is,
the additions didn't come with
Those
those.
are all wooden windows.
superintendent, I don't know.
In the old middle
Last
school?
20 years, but.
Those
I
are
don't know.
not, they're not wooden, none of them are. They're all modern windows. I look at them every day.
Yeah.
I was asking.
Yeah, they're actually
I'm
not
not
of the
sure.
quality of what they're showing here.
Yeah.
They're just your basic bottom of the barrel industrial window. You go up and look at them. They're just
Which building is
flat.
that?
The old middle school, the original
And I'm not
historic
sure
building
because it's a state.
of the school.
I was just
I
Saying
think
wondering.
if-
that's built as
You
windows.
could say anything.
Sorry?
I think those were built as windows.
Some of them were built best. I know I was actually just talking to those guys down there about it, but the last round of windows that were put in were Quaker.
Well, the last round of windows were not in the historical building, though. That's what I was wondering, how the historical part, is in comparison to the other part.
So these would be functional windows, or they're gonna be,
Yeah, they would. On the upper level.
and then these will not?
Yeah, those will be fixed.
I still think the design is beautiful. I mean, it's nice.
We'll not only have a color selected, we'll bring you a piece of the metal so you can see it, and we can look at it under this light and get a sense for it.
Is there any other samples that we need to bring in? I mean, there's not really anything else that
As I
we're,
recall from the first meeting, the only thing people questioned was the mural. I think everyone agreed at that meeting that if we could just get a photo and stick it in the building, that would suffice. And then the other was the awning. That were the two things I remember from the first meeting.
The other thing was the multicolored
Yeah.
front.
Right, the multicolored glass,
Whole
right.
building.
Yeah. Now, what will these be made out of? I know that the lintels up here are concrete. What's this gonna be?
That'll probably be smooth finished plaster.
Okay. And then the awning, is it gonna be cloth or metal? Or?
That will be a metal awning. Our preference is to do copper finish on the roof and then a dark finish everywhere else. But maybe it's white underneath to reflect light. It actually looks pretty handsome in the dark finish, I think. But we looked at that in a number of different shapes and
How far does it
configurations.
stick out?
You know, off the top of my head, I want to say 4 feet. Maybe it's 6, just enough to get you under there out of the rain.
and actually you do end up with an advantage because the doors are recessed there as well. So, 4 feet might be plenty.
Yeah.
Because you have a 4 foot or 3
Yeah,
foot
because,
inside.
the more shallow that is, the more it won't take away from the window.
Now, on the entrance, I can't really tell here. Are you keeping the door inset and these windows will be out like it is currently?
We are.
Probably
Is that
exactly the
right?
same
Yeah.
way it is today.
I didn't know if this was flush or not. I couldn't tell.
Are there any fire escapes on the second floor there?
No.
Okay, everything.
Well, there are
Back.
emergency egress. Do you mean exterior fire
Yes.
escapes? No, there won't.
The one to the back and then the one this, you're gonna have two manual exits, this one and the one in the back.
Actually,
Okay.
it actually comes, on the second floor, it comes here and then out onto the loading dock is the new
There's no
configuration.
external fire escape.
Yeah, they're all internal.
Yeah.
You won't,
Good.
so you won't see
Yep.
new metal stair or anything like that.
Yeah, we actually had one originally.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you had.
Yeah,
on
we've
towards
since-
the desert.
Early
Yeah,
on,
that-
we thought we might have to egress the upper level across the roof, but we realized we didn't. In fact, that's where it is.
This probably has nothing to do with me, but it's an opinion. Because this was talked about a lot last time. And whenever I go to church, and I was looking at the windows, if they just weren't so bright and were the colors like, that mimicked the church windows. You know, these are really bright,
Yeah, I think
Colors.
the rendering
you know, and if
is a
they
lot
were,
brighter than we're envisioning.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like inside the church. That's what that color looks like.
Yeah, when
On the
when the sun
outside,
shines
it
on
doesn't
it.
look like that. Plus, they're also covered with a protective glass on top of it.
so I mean, if it looks
don't-
like
Feels a little
that.
I think that's a
muted.
lit up look.
Do you have like just a sample of it you could bring at the?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
could probably
so
find,
maybe that-
we could find
that would
something.
You know, because
visualize.
I
It's hard to
think-
visualize from that.
Right, right.
Because it's screaming,
Right,
you know?
right.
Also, I don't know if it was just the rain, but there's no pattern to it. Will there be an actual pattern to the colors on the final, or?
Like, is it
They're
a,
super random.
yeah, is it
Yeah,
a
they
seated
are.
glass? Does it have a pattern within the
I don't mean the
glass?
pattern of the glass, I mean just the, what, like.
The art itself.
related,
Oh, like this stuff?
Well, I mean, it's like, instead of blue, green, yellow, it's like,
Swirly.
yeah, you have yellow, then purple, then next
Oh.
line. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if when you guys did that render, if you just like marked some colors on there, I don't.
I did it at random. I did it random, that was the hope. And, you know, one of the things that we've
Okay.
talked about actually is there's a coating, a film that you actually apply on these windows that we can use so that, you know, I don't know, in 10 years, somebody will say, you know, who was the idiot who decided they wanted to do that and we want to do something different? They can just, you know, peel that off and do whatever else, do something else they want.
Well, I feel like it kind of goes with the time period of the building. I mean, I just think that when some of the other members saw the colors, they were,
Well, I think that's the, I mean, there's nothing that I see that isn't satisfactory to a historic district with the configuration of it. It's just that the color is a bit,
The saturation and
Yeah.
a bit bold, yeah. Well, in fact, it actually would be pretty disturbing inside that space, I think, for those to be that saturated. So
Yeah, when the light hits them.
Yeah, we'll get some samples together and we'll revisit the layout of it so that we can.
Oh, yeah,
lay more
layouts may be
specific-
fine, I'm just throwing out the idea, but
Yeah.
the sample would be super.
Yeah, and kind of what we're hoping is that at the bottom, it would be more solid, and then as you went up, it would be less or more transparent, so that, you know, there was a little more light coming in above, but, you know, it cuts down on.
but I think that was what the main issue was, the screaminess of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and those would be, the windows there, would they be aluminum frame also?
They would. And I think probably match in color, just in the same way that does.
I don't know if it's helpful to maybe do some shorter windows at the bottom, you know, maybe, you know, that was to kind of break up the proportions, so it's not just, you know, the same size rectangles, or maybe it was a low 2-foot high band at the ground, and then,
Kind of more like a Frank Lloyd Wright? Or is that too much glass? Like, does that cost too much?
Well, the more framework you put in there, the more expensive it gets.
Yeah. Well, then I would just
But-
leave it.
but I'm just, you know, to break up the proportions a little bit, so they're not all the same size.
Do you have a
Or follow this pattern over there.
Yeah.
That's a good thought.
Yeah, in fact, we have that proportion a little bit already, if you look at each 2x3
Yeah.
bay. Do you have any strong opinion about the banners? One way or the other?
No, I think
Personally,
it-
I like it myself.
It's-
We do
it's
too.
decorative.
I think it really does add some
I just like
perspective.
the flag theme across the street, right?
And I think the color's good because it doesn't distinguish it, you know.
That's one of the things that we're trying to avoid. Because
There's a lot of people that go to church, you know, there that don't necessarily go to Valley. So I think that's good.
Oh, absolutely, that's the point. It is not supposed to say,
That way I
be
feel-
identified with Valley up front.
Yeah, that way I
It
feel
is
like
a
more people
parish-
would want to use it too.
Yeah, exactly. That's, in fact, might be time, I meant to ask, I know Father brought it up, was in that stucco or whatever that framework is to somehow put, you know, a cross on there, so it's a parish building. You know, it would be just in that,
I'm sure it's part of the pattern.
right. You mentioned that.
Like right here?
Yeah, somewhere in those, somehow to put, you know, a cross or crosses or, you know, not screaming at you, but that it is a parish church building, so not a school. So anyway, he had mentioned that to me.
Or even a stained glass with print.
yeah, we could do simple something in the middle there.
You could still use a lot of clear to kind of, you know.
And the address has to go somewhere on the front. Just saying, you know.
Oh, yeah, right.
Any other questions? Or?
I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Just listen.
What you doing?
Make comments like you've been doing.
Yeah.
I think it's a great looking project. And the only thing I could see that would just, you know, we have half the people aren't here, is, as Frank suggested, just a sample of the glass,
Okay.
the stained glass portion.
Sure.
Just to show people it's not the glaring neon.
In
but
fact,
it's
we'll redo the rendering as well. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's fine.
Have you considered doing a new cornerstone marking the renovation date?
That would be,
Yeah, you know, we hadn't talked about that much, but that would be
yeah. that would be-
worth doing.
Is there something, trying to picture the front of that building, but in one of these panels, isn't there like a limestone block?
I kind of think there might be.
There should be, I don't know
Let's
if
go
it's
look
still
at
there or
that.
not.
We'll see if there is.
Yeah, because you could just put it on the opposing one. It'd look really nice.
Put it when you're doing the brick over.
Yeah.
Where's new brickwork?
It's a major
The door?
improvement over what it is now. But I hate
Oh,
to
okay.
mention it, I mean, I think what you're removing is the HOK inspired redecorations.
Oh, is
The
that right?
tide tried to be French and they stuck all these god awful wooden awnings on every building. And this is cleaning it up again.
Good.
I think it's a beautiful building, I mean.
So if we bring a sample of the window frame here and a color chip and then some samples of the glass treatment.
Well, and maybe like, because the mural was, I remember this and the mural was the issue, you know, because I felt like the awning was fairly easy, an easy fix, you know. But maybe how you were going to do that, you know. Yeah, like John Otto did one of a mural at school at St. John, and it turned out really nice. But I feel like,
I was gonna ask Phil Maggard to.
yeah, but I feel, yeah, well, of course, yeah, but I mean, this is so much more, I don't know, the community sees it more, and it was for the celebration of the city, so it just needs to be presented nicely, I think. That makes sense.
Or you could put it at the Welcome Center. I mean, why put it
We
in
could do
the
two.
building, put it in the Welcome Center?
We could have 2 copies of it. I'm sure it wouldn't take much more to have a,
But I think what you were talking about is very respectful of it.
I only had one comment after our meeting with you, and that was from the daughter of the older man who's leaning out one of the windows.
Gig, yeah.
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 And she was upset about it being removed because that was her dad.
Well, it was a well done.
She may want those bricks if you're taking them out and it's got his face on it.
display there. It was one of the artists that
Well,
done so
everybody
much
is
of
from
that work
town,
in
isn't it?
St.
Aren't they?
Louis. The big
Yeah,
buildings
but he's
there on
dead, so,
40.
you know.
He
Yeah.
came down and did this
But I mean,
one.
I would understand, like
Every
Julie
person
Cargill's
on
on there,
there,
and she's like 20
you could
something,
identify them
you know,
as
everybody
a
is.
member of the
It
community.
was a resident of St.
Yeah.
John. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they're,
I mean, the 2 little kids were Will Hawk's kids, and Yes, the old gentleman looking out the window. I can never remember his name, but he was a,
Yeah,
what?
Yeah, I don't know which gig. He had a farm out.
Yeah,
yeah, they had a store right across from the old firehouse.
yeah, the old skull gas, yeah. He was the smartest old gentleman in the world, I
But
know.
the people are
I
very
was-
recognizable in the town.
So it's intensely personal too, especially to a small core of people. Yeah.
One thing I think you can do with the photos, you can bring back the colors. The colors on that place is really faded bad. And I mean, that painting got a lifespan on it, the way it looks.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I think with the color, pardon?
You can Photoshop the mural.
Yeah, we could bring it back to, if we knew the original colors, we can bring back the original brightness of the colors.
We just saturate that and desaturate our glass there. Swap them out.
Otherwise, I think it looks great, so.
I don't know, is this what we're supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just, well, our main thing is that we didn't want to come in, in a week and a half for the, and ask for a vote and then not have something that you wanted and
Yeah.
We're ready
to come back.
I think the main
October
thing
to
is to
go.
be prepared on the windows. I mean, that's kind of a sticking point with what we have, it's the hardest thing.
I think the sample will be hugely, because that way we can just hold it up the wall and see the actual, what you'll see from the street side and not from, just like a church window, not from the inside.
Well, that is a lot of stress on us too. I mean, I know it is you too, but.
Sure.
Otherwise, it looks great.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for driving all the way down here, and
Sure.
at least you won't have too much rush hour going back, 'cause it's all going
Oh.
south, so.
No problem, no problem.
He lived in Lake Forest.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
he's all
Yeah,
It's nice to drive down here at 3 o'clock
That's
instead
right,
of
yeah.
at 6 o'clock.
there you go. I really appreciate everything you've done, though. It's great, great design, and compliments the town a whole lot, so.
Good, we hope it'll be a great addition. We'll see you on the 16th with some more things to look at, some samples.
Sounds great.
16th, 9th, 18th?
Is it?
16th.
Is it 16th?
I thought it was
Okay.
16th.
So you will be back on the agenda then on the 16th? Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, great.
thank you.
Boy, as an architect, though, your problem with the windows is minor compared to that one in London.
I don't have a kid to pick
Oh
up
my
till
gosh.
5.
Did you hear? I saw the video today.
Craziest
Yeah.
thing.
Roger was showing me
Oh,
the video.
would it melt in the Jaguar?
Yeah,
Boy, that's,
and there's a spot like in somebody's restaurant where it burned the carpet.
is that right? Wow.
It's a
2 to 3 weeks.
parabolic.
A year that it happens,
So,
right? I read a brief
My
story on it.
daughter was
Oh, yeah.
one
I
of
didn't
the
hear what it
It's like a
downstairs, and,
concave
she was
facade, and when
nervous, but she
it's
wrote-
high, it's
her
full
dad
glass,
said- or my
so as the
husband
sun
said she
shines
did
on
really
it.
Oh,
It
it
actually
magnifies it?
melted.
Yeah.
Jaguar, yes.
Wow.
23.
It's like
They
at
didn't
the-
think about that, huh?
Well, you will have
on
to know,
like
we have our
the
thumb.
back window of a Jaguar or something, it's got a plastic piece, and it just like shriveled it all up.
Gotta find
Melted
that.
somebody's mirror.
His mistake was
Actually,
not
our
planning
daughters
it,
look
because
less
if you
tough.
plan it, you might get away with it, but as it is,
The
he's
taller
getting
ones
sued.
are tough.
There's
They're
no
paying-
way.
They're paying for the Jaguar.
The little
Well,
one.
see, they're
What I did
finding
read-
out the 3 parking spaces that are affected.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're practically trying to buy everybody out who's injured by it permanently. So they have to buy the little corner of the restaurant and
Parents.
whatever else.
Yeah.
I think the initial plan is to put a film on the windows that will diffuse the light rather than reflect it so purely the way it does.
But they're both pretty smart girls.
They're gonna have to do that for, 400, 500 feet up, I guess, for the big tower.
Jamie said,
What a
"You kept
mess.
taking my
Can I ask a
stuff."
question?
Yeah, this,
Has nothing to do with the building?
Oh, sure.
Is not
She's
on
kept
there.
up.
Are you really planning on putting
Yeah,
trees in here?
about like that.
The
You know,
cypress trees?
I don't know. That was mostly entourage.
Okay. I was wondering if these roots
Oh, we would,
go deep and that's why you chose this color.
yeah,
I
don't
think
worry.
With the trees.
anything we do
got
would
the
be
root-
plotted, right?
The root memo, but it would be nice to have some landscaping around.
Yeah, it would
I
be
mean, these
nice
are
to
nice.
get
Yeah,
something.
trees are tough.
Actually, I did do a little research on, I don't know, there was a couple different town websites that had, trees that, you should use, in the sidewalks. I remember when I was searching the trees, actually.
Is that right?
Don't believe everything you read.
What new research you do?
You know, it
Yes,
kind of
I've got a
depends.
question for you.
Don't get
This
me
year,
started.
have you found much water or moisture in the basement here?
Just in that one corner, the corner of the Third and Merchant. Well, there actually is some pump there, so it's. I'm
It kicked on
assuming-
the other night.
Wasn't there an entrance there?
If you go back,
It
if
used
you,
to be.
if you talk to Bob Mueller, the original, this is not the original building on that site.
Yeah.
Right.
It burnt down. The original building matched the other two
Yeah,
buildings on that
that's
corner.
true, yeah.
I thought so.
And then-
You, well, in the basement, you can, the basement
basement-
The
foundation.
basement's like that,
Yeah.
This foundation is the original foundation, but the angled door, you can see it in the, yeah, like Todd said, in the basement. But that would be major
Great.
structure. You'd have to go all the way to the roof, redo the roof and everything.
No, I don't think you'd like,
We're actually having to add
You
some
don't have to
steel
take it back to
bracing
what it
on that
wasn't.
front facade behind
Yeah,
it.
this building wasn't that, so
Yes.
why they didn't put it back there, I don't know, but I mean, it's not our,
because every angle you make laying brick costs. So it's, 90-degree turns are easy.
Well, this isn't a 90-degree turn.
No, it's
No.
right here?
No, it's
not.
not.
It's like,
The
This-
front of the
this-
building.
if you look at the angle. it's
Yeah,
not-
I wondered about that when I saw it. I guess
That's what it is.
somebody had a little too much wine when they leave.
Well,
There's no square blocks in the city, that's the problem.
Yeah, 'cause it actually, I think the thing that lines up at the sandbar, doesn't it? Or is it backfoot?
I don't know. So whoever laid that street out was the person who had the wine, and it's caused everybody havoc since then.
I've put in a few streets like that. Well, I don't know.
And what are you gonna do
I
with the
record the
trough out front?
subdivision, it's got the right of way.
It's not going yet?
It comes out.
Burn it.
Not
For
going
some
yet.
reason,
Don't burn
he
it.
just can't line the
Well-
street up with the right
You
of
think
way.
the Bolduc might want it?
What do you
We'll
think?
sell it to the.
How hard is that?
See if the museum wants it.
I was thinking maybe
Yeah.
the Bolduc would want it.
Oh, yeah.
So I wonder if the Bolduc would want it.
I mean, it's still sitting there, that trough. that
I'd buy it,
handmade
but I have no
trough
way to get it
out front of the
home.
building, get it-
I finally learned my lesson.
There's also a piano in there, if anyone wants a piano.
There's a piano in there?
Inside, yeah.
Was there an anvil in there?
Maybe you could put
A
the
flag?
piano where the anvil was.
Yeah, we could put the trough where the anvil was.
Got the safe for sale too, the safe
Yeah.
door. Now that we disarmed it.
Interesting,
Hmm.
because my sister died and there was a piano in her house, and you just had to sell it where it was. I mean, it was, and didn't get anything near what it was worth because the market for it was like in New York, and then the other people were moving and said the same thing. We're not taking that damn thing with us, so they put it up for sale.
Yeah, we have a few more items to get rid of, but it's pretty much empty now.
Thanks, appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you. Worth it.
I haven't been since you finished the demo. Actually, since you started the demo, I want to see how it's cleaned up.
Did you read my list?
Well, I knew the buildings,
Yeah, right.
and I'm all for the idea. They all look right to me. Yeah. So number 10's being
I have my
fixed.
keys with me. They're on my truck. Key ring.
Okay.
We don't have an idea for every single one of them.
So did you find any, or think of any other criteria we should?
No, I think you did a
go
good
by?
job. I think you did a good job.
Okay.
It's fine. It's all good to me.
And I'm trying to come up with, it's kind of hard to do a generic letter to send to the property owners because it's on here for a different reason, but I'm trying to
Right.
come up with a letter that gives them the information.
Right.
So just to let them know that.
They turned it into a parish
I'll
school.
help in any which way, whatever you want me to do.
Can't miss the ball, got some
Give me an assignment.
appliances. If we can just pull that side door.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know that
I said the hardest one on the whole list to do
I assume,
is this one because I don't know what you can do with it, number 2. And it's literally, it's just like buying a sculpture. It's like buying a giant
Good place to put that.
depreciating sculpture of doom.
Well, the thing is with the cat is it's a simple wood.
Well, no, but you can't really live in it, right? So you can't, there's no water, there's no sewer,
No, you would
there's
have
no
to-
power, and,
But the Senator Lane House,
oh, you could live in that.
not in this present.
Well, no, once you're done, I mean, it's 18,000.
Hey, I got some, we might have some good
When you call them, the guy tells you up front.
It, sometimes it's really
Is that-
Might have a branch, I
to
think
fix
that-
things that are already
Right.
there rather
Marion
than
said
just
that
install
Marina
new,
House.
so.
Thanks a lot for being here.
County applying for an $80,000 grant, that we can do anything with that.
No, actually, we're good. I know you got it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, often said
The county applied for an $80,000 grant to do work. It's a grant that create jobs, and they'll come in, they bring the people in, they bring the equipment in and do the work.
Good, thank you.
So I talked with,
Thanks for being
Chris
here.
Kirk, Levy District 2,
Nice meeting you.
and they'll take, we pull the dirt out and they can stockpile it. So if they put that cross, if they get the agreement to put that cross levy, that'd be the dirt they can use. So maybe we'll get that done enough, a little enough.
I hope you still do the dinner at your house during basketball. That's the highlight of my daughter's basketball season, so she thought that was awesome.
Thanks, Brenda.
Thanks a lot for being here.
Thanks a lot. So, I mean, we're trying to get contracts in October, so that's why we're kind of we're in a rush.
Yeah, no, we understand. We'll accommodate you any which way. We'll put on hard hats and start working on ourselves if you want. So.
How soon do you think the architect will be able to have the construction drawings here after?
I think they're a lot of the way there now, because they're with our project manager, so I would think by the end of this month.
Okay.
For sure.
Does just allow us enough time to do the review for the permits?
Yes, Dr. Todd's talking about permits, so. Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See y'all later.
Take care.
All right.
See you later.
Okay, everybody.
We lost?
Is number 9, is that the one that, that Only Child's had?
Yes.
For a while? I'm not sure I know all the properties. I know Abishan, obviously.
And
I know the
reason
mill, I know the Brooks.
pushed the Aubuchon down because it's a very sturdy building, and he is in there working on it. I kept it on there
Which
because
one's
it's
the
not done.
Antoine O'Neill? Help me out here.
That's the one by the Presbyterian Church owns.
Oh, right. Okay, fine. John Baptiste Burke, that one I don't know from
That's the
memory.
one on Ziegler Street, the other vertical log that is being done now by Adam Marty.
Right, okay.
Down from Eddie's.
Okay, I know that one.
Dean wants to know if you
Sorry?
need anything else.
Tell him I haven't had a chance to look
Okay,
at it yet.
okay.
I have no idea. I do not know. Which one is the GC house?
The Geesey House is at the corner of 61 and Market.
Oh, no, I know, the
Mississippi
Mississippi
Lime.
Lime house.
Yeah,
Now,
Ed
the
and
Dufour, this
Lauren-
is the Dufour house, it was the one that Dolly
right. the Dollar
lived in,
Store.
they started painting but didn't stop after the first floor
And
for
then
some
took it
reason.
down a shutter and didn't put it back.
Right, and I guess I know all the rest, so.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever tried to reach the guy on the Brooks to,
No, I have not contacted him yet. Leslie and I were out there earlier this year, and I took some pictures. There's some problems with moisture and water infiltration now because there's holes in the...
do the dames not want to buy the Baguette Roubeau? Would be a perfect dame addition to their building empire.
Well, the only thing is, it's not close enough.
I know, I'm pulling your leg, it would be awkward, but
Yes, it would be.
what the heck.
Hi, thank you for watching Channel 798.
Thank you for watching Channel 7 and 98.
Hi, thank you very much for watching Channel 798.